Warning. This program is intended for adults only. What you're about to listen to contains explicit language, sexual topics, and don't be surprised if you get wet.
You've just tuned in to PooseBoss with your host, Victoria Lynn. What's up, guys? It's your girl, Victoria Lynn, and you've just tuned into another mini episode of Random Pussy, and I like to introduce my next guest. Please introduce yourself, gorgeous.
Hi, I am Crystal Palace. I also am known as Chris P. Tender.
Ooh, I love that. Tender.
I'm a drag performer. I do drag queen and drag king. So.
Oh, you do both.
Yeah, so I've got an alter ego.
I love it. So which is your favorite, drag queen or drag king?
It's like comparing apples and oranges, because when I'm performing as a queen, like the feel and the vibe is just completely different from when I'm performing as a king. It's like, yeah, I mean...
Well, we're definitely going to get more into that because, you know, I actually was just introduced to the whole idea of drag kings, which I love.
Yeah.
I had no idea, because I've always loved queens, you know, I've always loved kind of just the performance aspect of it. I've always been into burlesque, everything like that. Yeah. How did you kind of start? Like, what is there something in your childhood that you love to dance, or?
Well, I mean, I came out of the womb performing, basically. Okay. Like, I've always wanted to be in the spotlight. And drag is something that I was always interested in. As a kid, I saw Rocky Horror and Tu Wong Fu, and CoverGirl came out, I think, when I was like 4 or 5. Yeah. And I just remember like being introduced to the idea of drag queens at a very young age and being fascinated. And then wishing I could be a gay man so I could be a drag queen because I thought I wasn't quote unquote allowed.
Yeah.
And watching.
I'm sorry but can you explain to people why you thought you were not quote unquote allowed? Because they can't see you.
Yeah, obviously. That's true. Yeah. Well, so I was born female. I identify as non-binary, but which is it's under the transgender umbrella. It's people who don't identify with male or female. It's it's kind of hard for people to wrap their heads around. Like, I find myself trying to explain it a lot, and it's kind of either sort of get it or you don't. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me in a way of like when I had an interview with somebody who was queer, and just the way that she made me say like it doesn't matter about what gender she dates. I feel like it's kind of, I mean, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's kind of the same. Like, why? I mean, it doesn't matter what gender. It's whatever you feel, your preference, how you feel inside. Yeah. And why is a genitalia what defines us?
That's exactly how I feel. That's totally right.
Yeah.
I am, in my daily life when I'm out of drag, I am still definitely read as female. I try to be as androgynous as possible. Surgeries and things like that are kind of, they freak me out.
Yeah.
And the couple times I've had to go through surgeries, like I just woke up feeling like really sick and yada yada. And I'm at this place in my life in terms of like my identity where I'm like, why do I feel like I need to medically alter my body for my transgender identity to be valid? Yeah. And I'm at a point where it's like, well, I don't think I should have to medically transition. It's unfortunate that people see me and they don't see what I see.
Yeah.
So I am still, even though I identify as non-binary and identify with the trans experience in certain regards. I still also identify with the female experience because people treat me like a woman. And that comes up in the drag community a lot, actually. Like, going back to the thing of feeling like I'm not allowed, you see shows like Drag Race, and it's just now, like, opening it up to trans women. And it's still like, well, not like fully transitioned trans women can be on this show, which is like ridiculous. And it just, I feel like it invalidates people's identities, both trans and non-binary, like anything like that. It feels like a very big invalidation to be like, well, we won't let women on the show unless they're trans and unless they haven't transitioned, because to me that says that you don't respect their identity as women.
Agree. How many people who are listening to this podcast now think when you say transgender, they automatically think only one thing, right? Because of what you said, like of what we're deciding, media decides on how they want to tell the story of what trans means or what this community is about. And I wonder, so, because I know when I guess it was when bi women started coming out more, and like they were kind of in a sense having trouble feeling the gay community, like feeling embraced by the gay community. do you feel the same way? Because people are like, well, you're not this and you're not this, so you're not us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Even before I started doing drag, I encountered a lot of misogyny in the gay community.
Oh, wow.
People asking me to leave bars, come back on lesbian night, things like that, like grabbing me, touching my breasts, like just really, and this was in Boys Town in Chicago, and that just goes to show right there the fact that it's even called Boys Town.
Yeah.
Don't feel super welcome. I'd have to go all the way to like Wicker Park if I wanted to go to a dyke bar, you know? Like, so, and then in the drag community, there's like a lot of people feel very protective as to like who's allowed, quote unquote, and who shouldn't be doing drag.
Yeah.
But luckily, I feel like that's shifting a lot. Especially when you have like people like Landon Sider, who's a drag king, and Hollow Eve, who's a non-binary queen who was assigned female at birth. They are both competing on Dragula right now, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's like the tide is shifting, I feel like. But I still have people come up to me. Like, I was at a bar in North Hollywood. I was performing. And a man came up to me. He used to be a drag queen, like in the 90s. And he said to my face, he goes, well, you know, I usually hate bio queens, but you were really good. And I was like...
yeah, it's like, come with a positive. Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, and I was like... And when you get down to it, when you ask, like, when you try to break down, well, why do you hate bio queens?
Yeah.
And I don't personally identify even as a bio queen because I just don't want my gender to be defined by my genitalia. I think it's ridiculous. And it's also this whole idea of like being biologically female is like, what does that even mean? But so, you know, it's cool because, sorry, my contact is falling out.
Oh no, you're fine. Girl, I was having eyelash problems.
My contact lens just popped out.
No.
Hold on, I can get her back in.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break for a contact lens. These are the real things that nobody's talking about is the amount of work that you understand goes into this.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When people don't want women doing drag or people who were born female doing drag, I'm like, I don't get it because I'm doing the same amount of work. I'm doing the makeup and the hair and the costumes and
you're embracing the community, which is what I think. You know, I was telling her before, PooseBoss is meant to be a place that we can all come and talk freely about who we are, embrace who we are, and stop hiding behind these walls. Because I think a lot of people don't have the confidence you do to be who you are. It's very hard, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, with just all this, it's like it's easier to hide behind what society tells us is okay. You know, but the truth is that I'm sure there's a lot of people who in our cross-dressers even that would go to the, you know, to go to try drag, but they don't because they're like, well, I can't let people know I have this good job or I have this or that. Do you find it, what's it like dating? Like, and if you don't mind me asking, like, how do you date? Are you queer? Are you? I
identify as bisexual.
Okay.
I know a lot of people within the community are like, you're non-binary. Like, isn't that kind of like a paradox to be bisexual, which kind of implies this idea that it's only men and women. But I do want to go on record and say that since the 90s, bisexuals have identified as saying we have the capability to be romantically and sexually attracted to more than one gender. That's it. You know, and people want to get into semantics about it and be like, well, you know, why don't you just identify as pansexual? And I'm like, or queer, like, and I call myself queer all the time.
Yeah.
I find I'm more attracted to the feminine. So I call myself a dyke all the time. I find a lot of empowerment in that word. It's been used against me many times in my life, and I find empowerment in calling myself one.
I get that. I mean, hey, my show's called PooseBoss.
Yeah,
I'm like, I find empowerment in the word pussy. Like, what's so wrong?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
We're lucky.
Yeah.
And not. I mean, the period is a curse.
Yeah. So,
you know what? That's when other queens say to you, can't be there because you're a woman. You know what you say? I'm better because I have to come out still when I'm bleeding. I'm on this stage still with a tampon in.
Well, and we do also need to remember that our trans brothers menstruate as well.
Do they? See, I have no idea.
So when we talk about things like periods, we also have to make sure that we're being inclusive of the non-binary community and the trans male community. Because
so can you define that a little bit more so that people can really understand what are you? what is considered a trans male?
Trans male typically is somebody who was born female, so they were something that, a term that we kind of, I feel like I have to use a lot because there's still that differentiation between like this quote unquote sexes, whatever. Like, I mean, everything is shades of gray, but we say assigned female at birth.
Okay.
So AFAB. Okay. And then people who are assigned male at birth, we say AMAB.
AMAB, okay.
So when we talk about, like, you know, right now, Hollow Eve brought up a discussion on Dragula about a term that's really popular in the drag community, which is fishy.
Okay.
And
I think I saw that when I was looking around.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's the idea that vaginas smell like fish. Right? Okay. And so you look so much like a woman, you look like fishy, you look fish because I can practically smell your pussy.
I see.
Which, for me personally, I don't like that term. There's a lot of shame.
Funny. Yeah.
There's a lot of shame though around vaginal odor.
Yeah.
And this conversation, when it was brought up, like I was talking to trans men who were like, I still worry about the odor of my vagina because of fish jokes when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. And I know that I was like, I mean, I don't want to be like I was traumatized, but like, I mean, I've heard enough jokes about vaginas smelling like fish and being compared to things like roast beef and anything like that.
Yes.
And so when we talk about things that are like, especially in the drag community, or when we talk about the trans community, things like that, like we do have to acknowledge that there are certain things that people who were born female experience that are different from things that people who were born male experience. Yeah. And so, you know, I always feel like it's kind of walking a fine line lumping in trans men with cis women. I feel like that's kind of like, oof, I don't want to do that. But at the same time, we do have vaginas and we do have uteruses that are being legislated against, and you know, and so when you're in a community where like a bunch of people are, and at the same time also the other thing with the word fish is like you're saying, oh, you have to have a vagina to be a woman, and that isn't true. That's it's just not. And then, you know, as a non-binary person, when I hear that too, it's like, you have a vagina, you're a woman, you're a woman, you're a woman, and it's like, okay, you know, and I get it, like it's been in the community for a long time, people want to hold on to it. I'm not going to go
just like gender roles. Everybody wants to hold on to what a man's supposed to be, what a woman's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Blah, 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 blah. Like, it's a constant thing. I feel like I mean, I think people just need to get the fuck over it and let people live their life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care who you fuck, what you do, as long as you're happy. Like, I'm sick of seeing people pissed off, angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like so many people in the world now can't even communicate.
Yeah.
Because we are so focused on social media and what we think we're supposed to look like, or what... You know, or people are doing things like drag just because they're trying to be social media famous. So then the people who are really doing drag for the reasons to like celebrate and show the art are being lost within the chaos, you know? And the art is being lost. Because that was, to me, when I remember when I first saw a drag show, I was just like, this is amazing because the like... It's amazing.
Yeah.
If you've never seen a drag show, you need to go to one. Men, it's you two, like you will probably be the ones who love it the most.
You know, the drag community, it's such an interesting microcosm of so many different identities because, and the thing is, like, I understand, like, being frustrated with people being angry all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. But at the same time, I understand the frustration of speaking out and then not being heard or being continually disenfranchised. Yeah. And so something that we need to remember in the queer community and the drag community, things like that, is like we just always need to be cognizant of the intersection of our identities and which identities give us privilege and which identities marginalize us and how we can work together and have conversations together. Yes. And, you know, so you know, when I had a conversation, I put on my Instagram story my personal take on the word fish and why I don't like it and why I think it's outdated and we need to let it go. And I had people in my inbox being like, I disagree, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what, I get it. Fine, if you want to use it. I'm not going to come for you. I'm not going to be a bitch about it. I'm not going to cancel you because I don't like cancel culture. Yeah. But you should know, I'm just trying to put it out there that when you use that word in front of me, it makes me feel a certain way.
Yeah.
It affects me, you know?
No, I get it. It's funny because you bring that up, and honestly, so when I was like 11 or 12 years old, my parents took me to the doctors because I had a rash, because what I started doing was I started douching, like washing. I had already, because people had told girls have smelly vaginas, and also girls are not supposed to have hair on their asshole, right? So like all these things, like I was like, oh my God, I have hair on my asshole.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I gotta shave it now. You know, you're also not supposed to have too much hair down there. Keep it nice and trim. Like there's so many things that even at a young, I'm the same with you. Like I remember being like, oh my God, and like it took me, I think like, I don't think I ever really let anyone go down on me until like it was like somebody I like. It took me till I was like 19, 20 because I was so worried about what the fuck the smell looks. You know?
Yeah. Oh, people with vaginas worry about that shit all the time, and that's the other thing too. Is like then you also have to think about like the economics of it. People are profiting off of our shame.
No shit.
And that's
I say, why are tampons not free? And then I said, you know what? All these, like, they want to take abortion away from us. Well, fine then. I want all plastic surgery. I'm saying this again. After I have a fucking baby, and if I have any rectal prolapses, any stretch marks, anything, I want the government to pay for it, since you're not going to cover abortion or birth control. You just want me to pop out fucking babies. You know, like, try to ruin my body over here. That's what they want to do. They want it so that so they can keep going to the younger ones.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about control. It really is like how we can control people's bodies.
Well, yeah, because sex is...
Yeah.
So did you know that there's actually laws in certain states that, like, won't allow you to, like, have anal or...
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing so much research, and I was, like, amazed at some of the things I saw.
There was a period of time in, I want to say, like, 2000 in Texas where it was up for debate at the same time, the bestiality laws and the sodomy laws. So for a brief period of time in Texas, it was, like, okay to fuck your dog, but not okay to fuck your same-sex partner.
I don't even know if I want to touch that one. Texas. You know, they just passed a law, supposedly. I saw this on some girl on Facebook, so I don't know how 100% this is. But supposedly they passed a law that if you send dick pics, it's like illegal to send a dick pic without being asked for one.
I mean, consent.
Yeah.
I've gotten so many dick pics without my consent that I'm just like, it does feel like an assault sometimes. I'm like, ugh, not like a physical assault, but like a visual assault.
Sometimes, yeah, I know. And sometimes they won't stop. You're like, I don't want it.
Well, I get a lot of chasers in my inbox. So
what's that?
It's guys who think I'm a man in a dress.
Oh.
And they get off on that. And so they inbox me and like send me dick pics and shit. And like,
what do you do? Like, sorry, dude. Wrong.
I request money, and then they usually leave me alone. Like, they don't want to pay me. If they are like entertaining that, then I block them because I don't want to be putting myself in a situation. Or I'm just like, I don't know if I'm necessarily what you're looking for, because I feel like you're looking for somebody with a dick.
Yeah.
And I don't have one. I'm sorry to disappoint. Although I did have a guy be like, no, I just have a thing for drag queens. Like, it's a fantasy of mine. Drag queens. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, I'm not gonna entertain you, but
do you find dating hard?
You know, I'm not much of a dater in general. Like,
really, why?
I don't know. I've never been in a relationship. I just
really,
never. I've dated here and there. I'm very busy, and I'm very much a person where like I need a partner who is okay with like not seeing me, like
with you being busy.
Yeah, like is okay with like seeing each other like once a week or something. You know, like I can't be with somebody all the time 24/7, and I need alone time to just like decompress.
Yeah. What's your sign?
I was just gonna bring up my sign.
Girl, so you know I'm tarot reader right here.
All right, and I'm gonna give you moon and rising as well. Okay, so I'm a Leo sun.
Oh, love.
Thank you. Makes sense.
Leos have such confidence. My roommate's a Leo. He's an asshole, but I love him.
I love that.
Because he has this, like, no matter what, there's, like, nothing that fades his confidence.
Right.
It's great.
But here's the thing is Aquarius moon, Pisces rising.
I'm a Pisces.
Oh, okay. All right.
Aquarius moon, though. Ooh,
oh, we're both Aquarius moon.
No. Oh. I'm a Pisces moon.
Oh, Pisces moon.
I'm a Capricorn. Wait, it goes moon, rising, sun, or is it sun?
Sun, moon, rising.
So I'm Pisces Sun, Capricorn Moon, Pisces Rising.
Oh, wow.
I'm a Pisces with Capricorn. It's
Okay.
I feel like I can be very emotional. Well, I am very emotional. Let me correct that because my friend would be listening to this and be like, bitch, stop it. I'm super dramatic, but then at the same time, like, I'm very hard, like, grounded worker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's that Capricorn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because the Pisces, I mean,
we just flow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem with love, you know, because that's your, like, what's your Venus? Do you know your Venus?
I think my Venus is in Leo as well.
Oh, see, you're good
Yeah.
then. Leo's very strong. Again, doesn't, Pisces, like, I get beat down. I'd be like, oh!
Yeah. I mean, I am, when I'm in drags, especially, I'm very confident.
Yeah.
It really, it gives me a huge amount of confidence.
King or queen, does it matter?
It doesn't matter. Yeah. When I'm a queen, like, I feel like I'm very much with my Judies and, like, we're just having a good time.
Yeah.
And then when I'm a king, like, I'm with my boys, you know, and I'm, like, hanging with my dudes. Cause, you know, because it's not so much... The king and queen community in LA is, like, integrating more. Like, we're getting, like, people are getting better at booking kings on their shows.
That's good.
But there's still, like, a pretty big divide, like...
Well, like I said, I can't believe I haven't heard about it.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, so excited because I'm, like, finally... Like, I think it's great because it gives everyone an outlet.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing is I knew about drag kings for a long time, but I was like, I don't know if I want to... be a drag king because I was like that doesn't seem as glitzy and as exciting and it doesn't seem like the makeup is as fun and the costuming is as fun. I was wrong. Kings do incredible makeup and incredible costuming and stuff like that.
I was blown away by a couple. There's one coming in from London. We actually are going to interview.
Oh, what's his name?
We're gonna have to ask Sarah.
Okay.
I know we were talking to Earl Grey as well.
Love Earl Grey. He's one of my boys.
Yeah, and do you know Maybe?
I do know Maybe.
You know, maybe she's coming later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Maybe's coming later. But yeah, so I mean, I'm excited because I really personally think that, you know, there needs to be more talk about the drag community just in general. So
well, that's a double-edged sword with like RuPaul's Drag Race going mainstream. Yeah. Which, like, even though RuPaul's gonna always be like drag will never go mainstream, it has gone mainstream. Yeah. People, like, it's won 2 Emmys. People are talking about it like crazy. Like, I know so many straight guys who watch Drag Race now. And while I'm like, that's great for like queer acceptance and for like this community, it's still you still have a show that's being like mostly edited and like crafted and created by like people in power, which are like rich white men. So like
supposed straight white men.
Yeah. So like when you have like queens of color being edited to look like villains like consistently, when you won't allow trans women on who are in a certain journey in their transition, when you won't let cis women on, you're only showcasing one type of drag, and then that makes everybody think that that's what drag is.
No, I completely agree. It's just like I feel like, you know, just talking to you now, I'm learning so much more just about the word trans. Yeah. And what that really defines, because we are defined.
Well, you'll get an earful from Maybe too, because she's gender fluid.
Perfect.
So,
I know.
so
I'm
she'll
so
tell you all about
excited
that stuff
because
too.
You know she's running.
Yeah, she's running for Congress.
Which I love. Yeah. So one question that I feel like a lot of people are probably thinking listening to this: why not just burlesque? Why drag?
Well, when I started drag, I have a very complicated relationship with my body. Like, one, there's the being trans thing, but also, two, on top of that, I have struggled with bulimia since I was 18. And so I have a very complicated relationship with nudity and showing my body. Okay. And so burlesque never was one of those things I wanted to pursue because I didn't want to be naked on stage. Yeah. I didn't want to be objectified. Yeah. I feel, you know, I didn't want to be in a situation where, like, men would be looking at me and objectifying me. Like, I hate the male gaze. And I didn't realize until I started doing drag, like, what a queer art form burlesque has become. When I meet burlesque performers, like, they're mostly queer. Most of the audiences that are at burlesque shows, like, are a lot of, like, queer women and queer people. And so, you know, I now I show my tits all the time too. Like, I mean, I wear pasties, but I love like,
that. But that's because though you came into your own and started loving yourself more, right? Exactly.
I came from a place of like loving my body and accepting myself more. Yeah. And actually, there's a queen in LA, Baby, non-binary, AFAB, really kind of paved the way for AFAB queens in this community in Los Angeles.
Awesome.
And she shows her tits all the time. She gets naked. She's fucking amazing. She's a good friend of mine. Yeah. She we actually do a show together. She started a show called Queer as Punk.
Okay.
And now we produce a show together called I'm Power, and it's specifically for AFAB individuals, non-binary, and trans people.
Awesome. And where can they find this show?
That will be at the Virgil.
Okay.
And it's actually happening this month on Sunday, the 29th.
Maybe we need to come out.
Yeah, Sunday.
Do you think you could get us in the backstage and we could do a podcast back there?
Oh gosh, I can DM my people. Yeah,
because that would be great. We could add it to the whole drag week.
Yeah. So October 29th, this Sunday.
October 29th, so you guys will not hear this. It'll be over by then. But I will be there. I'm planning to be there. We will definitely come support. It has been so wonderful talking to you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
Please tell everyone where they can find you on Instagram, Twitter, whatever.
Okay, my Instagram handle is at Crystal Palace Drag. You can find me on Twitter at Crystal Palace LA. And on Facebook, I think I'm also Crystal Palace Drag on Facebook.
Okay, we're definitely going to come out and see you.
Yay! Yeah.
So one last question I have for you. Ready for this one?
Absolutely.
I want to do a YouTube video where I go as a drag queen and then drag king. You want to help me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Will
I would love to.
Transform me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
I
it's
love
on,
that.
baby. Okay,
Yeah.
so guys, you hear it first. I am going to be a drag king and a drag queen for one day, and we're going to put it together, and maybe we'll like go out one night or something. We'll figure something out, but we'll have video.
The fun places in
Ooh,
DTLA.
Yay! All right. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this random pussy. As you know, it's never really that random because, I like the girls I know. But this is your girl, Victoria Lynn. And remember to keep patting that puss.